District VP forwards the pictures of the device to the head of security. The head of security isn't sure what this could be, but he suspects that it might be a listening device. But since he wasn't sure, he sends the pictures to the Canadian Security Intelligence Services, as well as the RCMP, aka the Mounties. As you may be aware, the Mountie always gets his man. Into the Wilder suddenly realizes the degree to which he is fucked. And it gets worse. The Canadian feds suspect that the little Anoyatron might be a bomb. So over the weekend, all the staff were told to stay home, and while they were gone, investigators swept the building to make sure that there were no more such devices hidden around. And at this point, hearing all this, it's the Wilders panicking. What's he gonna do? And really, what do you do? My opinion, keep it to yourself. I mean, at this point, you got the feds involved, you got the Mounties involved. They haven't gathered everyone in the office for a big dramatic reveal. You've made it this far, they probably have no idea that you're the one that put this behind that poster. And if they don't know by now, they probably never will. Just keep your mouth shut and you'll go away. So here's what he does. If I had sat down ahead of time to brainstorm a worst case scenario, I wouldn't have even come close to this epic corporate craptastrophe. I had no choice. I took a shaky breath, steeled my nerve, clenched my ass cheeks tight, and tried to say, "Excuse me," but choked out a pubescent squeak instead. I cleared my throat, interrupted the conference call in that stuffy room full of my coworkers and spoke up, telling them it's a harmless noisemaker, taking responsibility and apologizing profusely. The room was dead quiet. The VP slowly says thank you for speaking up, they'll stop the investigation, and the call ends. Everyone files out. I asked the manager if she wants me to stay, but she says she can't talk to me right now. She doesn't talk to me for 3 weeks. And when she does talk to him finally, it turns out that her reaction, it was a bit more than just because, how embarrassing it was to have the office shut down for the weekend. Then rally her whole staff into the office for a meeting with the district VP, get corporate involved, get the Mounties involved. All for her to be standing in front of everybody when they find out, oh, this was just a silly prank machine from thinkgeek.com. You see, what made this so much worse, the manager, not knowing what to do with this mystery device, she's driving home from the office and she has it in the passenger seat of her car. And when she's driving home from the office, that's when she gets a call from the feds, saying, hey, you know what little thing you got there, sitting in your passenger seat? There's a possibility that's a bomb. At that point, she bursts into tears and nearly drives her car into a ditch. So yeah, I guess a bit of a cold shoulder is understandable. The district VP threw a fit, and despite my 17-year unblemished work record, she tried really hard to have me fired. By some miracle, one of the company higher-ups appreciated the joke and he winds up keeping his job. Luckily, they didn't charge me the $50,000 plus in lost business, staff wages, and other miscellaneous costs. No, I don't know why my manager didn't just ask her staff if anybody knew about it instead of sending a fucking urgent memo to the entire fucking universe. My office is full of a lot of things, but common sense isn't one of them. He concludes by saying that his days of office pranks are over. And amid all the comments wondering about, was this just a lie made up to have some viral marketing for ThinkGeek? A user named MindTaker had a great suggestion. The only thing that would have made this better would be if they had found it and did all of this just to fuck with you. That would have been the perfect way to just flip this all back on him. All it needs is some J. Walter Weatherman type guy to lose his hand in the end.
That's why you don't yell.
It also prompted a lot of people to share their own experiences with the Anoyatron. For example, you had one guy who had a friend place it in his room underneath his chair, which leads to him removing every single object from his room one by one, including his TV and his computer, which he had to disassemble before moving it into the hallway. Ultimately, though, he never actually found the Anoyatron. He just kind of gives up on the search, and when he's trying to sleep, he just plays loud music. This goes on until the battery dies, and 3 years later, his friend admits that, yeah, so here's what I did.